All right, I want to bring my panel in. Ben White, chief economic correspondent for Politico, and Evan Siegfried, a Republican strategist. Evan, when you hear someone like John Kelly saying he's completely shocked by this, Rob Porter was with the president every day. How could John Kelly be totally shocked? If you've got his job, wouldn't you know the security clearance issues around Rob Porter?
He could be shocked. He never said in his statement when he was shocked and what he did after.
What?
It seems he can't.
What? So he was shocked six months ago and got over it?
He was shocked and then said, we'll keep going. And it's part of a pattern in this administration. They find out that there are issues with aides. They didn't disclose things or they can't get a security clearance, and they don't care. With Mike Flynn, hey, you know, he lied to the FBI. Let's keep him on as a national security advisor. Then it comes out, and he's gone a month later. It's only when it's revealed in public we see action taken. The White House just says, let's flaunt the rules and keep praying that nothing happens to expose this. And that's not how you operate a government. You need to do a full vetting. We've seen no vets really being done because they would have found things on, say, Sebastian Gorka with his Hungarian arrest warrant, or the guy, Carl Higbie, and his racist rants, Sam Clovis. I mean, we've seen time and time again people who have been in this administration get taken down because they have something in their background, which is a massive red flag.
When the Daily Mail takes down someone in the White House, this is the house of the unforced errors. Ben, you said this is a horrendous mess. This is a self-inflicted horrendous mess.
As so many of their horrendous messes are self-inflicted.
But that's what makes absolutely no sense.
It doesn't.
You don't need it.
In terms of the reaction to this, I mean, the White House knows basically one play on these things, and that's when somebody comes under attack or criticism, immediately circle the wagons entirely, get everybody on board to put out these supportive statements until you can't possibly do it anymore. And it dates from the campaign and allegations against Trump. That's how they respond to these things.
Or people in the White House who won't defend it simply go underground and go silent, and you don't hear from them.
Or they talk to reporters on background and undermine the public face of this thing. But
ding, ding, ding,
I mean, there's
ding,
so
ding.
many problems with this. The national security angle, that he's looking at these documents that require a security clearance. He doesn't have one. Clearly, Kelly had to know about the reason he didn't have one, and that is the protective order that was taken out against him, and all of these allegations. All of this time would not come out and, you know, get rid of him or say that he shouldn't be in this job. Finally, when he can't deny it anymore and there's a picture out there, then you're shocked, okay? And then the guy is out of here. I mean, the fact that this completely undermines Kelly's leadership in the White House. I don't know how he can stay on after a scandal like this.
But in the era of Me Too, that doesn't surprise you at all. I mean, what day was it? Wednesday, John Kelly called Rob Porter a man of integrity. Orrin Hatch originally said the women were morally bankrupt character assassins. Morally bankrupt. Like, we're not talking about porn stars here, because remember, porn stars have been in the narrative for the last few weeks, and I have not heard from Mike Pence or Orrin Hatch about moral bankruptcy, but he's talking about the ex-wives of Rob Porter, who we see photographs of having black eyes. They're morally bankrupt. Is that not a risk for someone like Orrin Hatch to go out on a ledge and say something? I'm not saying that Rob Porter isn't a smart guy with a great academic or professional background and a rising star, but when you punch your wife in the face, come on now.
Yeah, and it's pretty disgusting. It's not a partisan
Allegedly.
issue. It's a moral issue, and nobody who does that or abuses anybody should have a place in government. But look what John Kelly's tenure, what has happened. He came out and he said, well, the Civil War happened because we couldn't compromise. And that was seen as a pretty racist statement, because you don't compromise on human bondage. And then the next time, he attacks Frederica Wilson in racist undertones. And then this week, some of the Dreamers were too lazy to get off their couches and register. This is a chief of staff who I love that he served and the service he did as a Marine, and he has sacrificed for this country, but I have lost all confidence in him as chief of staff. He's becoming a distraction. He says things that are absolutely outrageous, and then he does things in the case of Rob Porter that are morally despicable. Why is John Kelly White House chief of staff now after repeated mistakes?
Yeah, in a normal White House situation, he would not still be in this job. After this, after all the comments that you just made, the racial undertones, and the fact that he kept a wife beater, or alleged wife beater, in this job, knowing the allegations against him, this is not a normal White House. So it's very difficult to say how long he lasts, whether Trump loses confidence in him. Trump doesn't like to fire people, but this is a situation where I don't think you get past it unless you change the chief of staff.
I mean, it's going to be interesting. Remember, Ivanka Trump is a passionate advocate for the advancement of women and girls. It'll be interesting to hear Ivanka weigh in on this.